I've got a new favorite tool, whether it's for editing at home or on the go to speed up my workflow, and it's this. But today we're going to be talking about specifically how it helps with editing photos, and I'll give you a brief overview of all of the different ways it can speed up your workflow. But first, I know when people start these videos, it seems like it's going to be gimmicky. It seems like it's going to be something you don't really need. And it seems like something you could end up spending money on that you didn't really need to in the first place, and then it's something that goes in your drawer and dies there, and you regret listening to me, and then you're kind of mad at me forever, even though we may not have met yet. Anyway, so this device, this video is sponsored by Logitech today. They've been a long-time sponsor on this channel, and if you've been around on this channel for a while, you've seen me mention this mouse. This is the MX Master wireless mouse. We've got the keyboard as well. This is my favorite keyboard because they both look good. They both are incredible to use and are ergonomically designed, like they're comfortable to use. So it goes without saying that when they have an extra tool, let's say, that can help speed up things with your workflow, and especially for creatives, that's minimal, that travels easily, that's intuitive to use, that matches and looks good on a desk, I'm intrigued. This is the MX Creative Console. Essentially what it's gonna allow you to do is speed up a lot of your workflow. It gives you access, quicker access to a lot of the shortcuts and tools and processes that you're already using every day. And it allows you to be more precise with some of the adjustments that you're already making in different editing applications, or maybe in something like Skype, or in other applications as well that aren't creative, but these work seamlessly with the Adobe Creative Suite, and I'll go into a bit more detail on that in a second. But if you're already using the Adobe Creative Suite, or you're already using Adobe programs, then I would suggest looking into this and watching the rest of this video. So this right off the bat, you're probably wondering, how much does it cost? And if it costs too much, then I'm not even interested. So rather than waiting till the end of the video to get into that, let's dive into it right now. So for all my US people, it's about $200 US. But with that, you get 3 months free of the Adobe Creative Suite. So if you are already paying for that, which many of us creatives already are, or if it's something you're interested in using for a 3-month trial or whatever, it kind of negates the price of this. You basically get this for free. It is 3 months of a Adobe membership is about $200 anyways. So to me, it's kind of a no-brainer price point. It's kind of like buy one, get one. You get a free tool, you speed up your workflow, everybody's happy. So what everybody wants to know, is it worth it? Is it easy to use? Is it actually gonna speed up my workflow? If you're going from a keyboard and mouse to adding on these, yeah, it's gonna require initially a little bit of extra brain power, but it's not hard. The other thing is that I find a lot of people think that the dial especially is something that's going to replace your mouse. It doesn't. It's an extra tool, and I'll show you exactly why it doesn't replace a mouse. It's more of something that's adding on extra precision and convenience. Same thing with the keypad as well. So the keypad has 9 full color LCD keys. It's got 2 paging buttons and about 15 pages of actions per app. So on the dial pad, you've got the dial here, you've got the roller, and then you've got 4 customizable buttons. This is actually Bluetooth. This is a wired connection to your computer, so the keypad is a wired connection, but the dial pad is Bluetooth, and you can connect up to 3 devices to it as well. If you'd like, you can plug it in, but I would like to keep as few things plugged in as possible on my desk. That's just me. In terms of the setup and positioning of all of these, you can move these around however you want. This is just how I like it because I like having the dial over here so I don't accidentally touch it. And I like having the keys over here so that, again, I'm not crossing to reach the keys all the time. I have seen a lot of people stack them vertically. You can also lay this down flat if you prefer that. I like it propped up. Both the dial pad and the keypad are pretty lightweight. They both have non-slip material on the bottom though, so it doesn't really move very much, even if I am pressing different buttons, and you'll see that as we go through the video. What I do like though is the dial itself is aluminum, so that feels very high-end, feels very premium. But because they're both still lightweight, made from essentially recycled plastics, you can travel with them really easily. So if this is something that you're getting used to in your home setup, you can pick these up and take them with you. Let's get into all the different apps that these are compatible with. So this little icon up here and this is in the Logi Options Plus app. But once you go into either the keypad or the dial pad, this little icon up here is the marketplace, and you can see all of the plugins that are available. So although this works seamlessly with all Adobe apps, it's not exclusive to the Adobe Creative Suite. It just means that with all of these plugins, there are preset shortcuts already ready to go. If you don't want the headache of having to program this thing in the first place, you don't have to. It is all done for you. And then you can kind of, which is what I've been doing, is just customizing things, adding my own buttons, and moving things around based on how I use it as I go. But it is nice that it is plug and play if you want it to be. So when you're in the Logi Options app, you can see all of the different Logitech products that you have connected to your computer at one time. But here is the MX Creative Console. So if we go into the dial pad, there's the dial and roller. You've got an easy switch on the back to be able to connect it between different computers. And then here are some settings. But the buttons is what we want because we want to customize them. So up here you can see what application you are adjusting the actions for. So basically there are applications that have profiles already created for them. It doesn't mean you can't adjust those or customize them or create new ones. It's just this allows you to be plug and play. So it's the same thing here as with the keypad. If there is an application that you want to create a profile for that doesn't already exist, then you would just hit General Profile, or you could import one that's already been made. Now when it comes to changing what any of these do, so whether it's a button, whether it's the scroll, whether it's the dial, you just go through the system actions over here. If there's something you can't find, you can search the actions up there. And it's as simple as dragging one over. Same thing here with the actions ring. You can customize all of these. So you have it for screen brightness, system volume, next track, play, pause, Google, lock workstation, reply with ChatGPT. This is compatible with Figma, Lightroom, we've got Final Cut Pro, DaVinci Resolve, Discord. What's really cool is it is compatible with Philips Hue, so you could have a bunch of different lighting set up in your office or creative studio and use this to switch through different lighting setups, which I kind of want to try at some point. We don't have that in here, but like future dreams, we could totally do that. Zoom meeting, OBS, Audition, Illustrator, Photoshop, Lightroom Classic, Premiere Pro, Apple Music, Capture One, After Effects, Spotify, VLC Player. So there are still a lot of plugins available. And again, that's only right now. All we're going to see down the line is more applications becoming available. If there isn't an app that already has its own shortcuts set up on the dial pad and the keypad, you can set your own. You would just have to build it, that's all. So I can actually walk you through how to do that. For example, with notes, I added a new note button, and all that means is going down to advanced, hitting multi-action, and you actually just drag whatever shortcut or action you'd like to see on each of these dials. There are different options available here, but if it is a shortcut on your keyboard, you would create a custom action, keyboard shortcut, type in whatever the shortcut is, and then hit save. And within each app, it is that easy. You just find the shortcut you want and you drag it over onto that key. So if we go into Lightroom, for example, these are all of the preset keys on the keypad, and you can cycle through the pages to see what's available. And I will show you all of this in action in Lightroom in just a second. Each mode that you're in, whether it's develop, crop, overlays, it's almost like these are your sub menus, if you will. Now masking, for example, you would have access now to brush size, select objects, brush, linear gradient, radial gradient, select subject, select background, invert active mask tool, and then I've added clarity, texture, dehaze, and some other frequently used shortcuts there too. And these Jack Vintage Preset, Japan Blue Greens, these are some of my presets that I use the most frequently, and so I thought it would be quick and easy to add some of those there to be able to use them. But this isn't necessarily limited to just different applications. You can also control your entire operating system. So you can open folders, websites, launch apps, control media just with a key press. If I want to close the Logitech Options app, the center button will open that for me. If I want to start a screen recording, I can hit screenshot, which is what I'm doing right now. I can open Finder. I can play or pause music, mute. And then on the second page, I've actually added all of my frequently used applications, so I have all of those shortcuts there. And then my last page, I've preset to be kind of like a posting day area. So when I'm posting a YouTube video, these are the applications or websites that I'm frequently using. So I'm making adjustments to a thumbnail in Canva. I'm uploading a video on YouTube, probably going over to Instagram at some point. Dropbox is where my files are, maybe in Google Drive for a script. It also has adapt to app. So whatever application I'm opening or switching between, it will automatically switch over to those presets. So if I do that right now, say I switch into Lightroom, you'll see it change into all of my Lightroom shortcuts, and the same thing has happened on the dial too. And let's go into Lightroom and I can show you how I use it. All right, welcome to Lightroom. I've seen a lot of people demo the MX Creative Console using Premiere Pro or other video editing applications, but I haven't seen anyone do it with Lightroom. And this is primarily where I know I would really enjoy using the dial, but I've also really been enjoying using the keys because you can just get quicker access to so many tools that I would constantly be having to scroll up and down here in the develop panel with my mouse. And it also just feels more intuitive, more tactile, and in any creative process, having something as physical as like buttons and a dial and not having to remember different shortcuts or remember where things are all of the time is kind of nice. I am someone that likes writing things down, and so having those preset buttons kind of takes off that mental load, and then being able to make more fine-tuned adjustments to things like clarity and dehaze or luminance with the dial has been really nice. So here is a photo that I purposely picked because it is not perfect at all. My lovely partner took this for me or of me while I was vlogging, and we're gonna use this as an example of how I would use the keypad and the dial typically. So the first thing that is bothering the absolute heck out of me is that it is not level. So we are gonna go over to the second page, hit the crop tool, level that out. And this came mostly preset. I did add the 4:5 option down here because that is for Instagram. So we're gonna crop to that size. And then we're just going to center me. Cool. And at this point, let's try out some of my presets in here. So I've set up some of my most frequently used ones. It's not all of them, but these are the ones I like the best. So rather than scrolling over here and going up and down and clicking them individually, we can try some different ones out. Vintage preset, and then actually on the dial pad, this is the undo and redo option up here. I'm just gonna undo that. Don't love that one. I think I like that one the best. I'm just going to reduce the amount. And the clarity already seems kind of intense. So I just selected that on the keypad, and now I'm adjusting it with the dial because it's already been selected. And then what I really want to do is mask out the background because there's some light coming through the trees up here and making that look nice and glowy. That's been my favorite thing to do these days. So I go one page back, go over into masking, and then you can see these selections on the keypad have all changed. So select background is right there. Done. Okay, so we're gonna go over to the second page. I have a clarity option for masking selected. Then again, we can use the dial pad. And you can see if we scroll down here that the clarity slider is being adjusted. I'm gonna reduce that. I'm gonna hit texture, reduce some of the texture, even dehaze if you want. Dehaze the background up a little bit, really soften that light. Make it nice and glowy. Okay, and then you just hit that button again to deselect it. Basically, when it has this little circle around the key, you could press it to deselect it. And right up in the top left, you can switch between the develop and library toggle really easily. Brush size, select objects, brush. There, now in the library. Now we're back in develop. So I would like to mask myself out now. So we hit mask, select subject. Now we're gonna use the dial pad. So the lower right-hand customizable button here, you can hit that guy, go over to exposure, and you just hover over this with your mouse, which is why this is a separate tool from the mouse. You can see that now. Actually, because this is right in front of me, I'll move my arrow over here. Just gonna bring up the exposure on me a little bit. Yeah, that looks pretty good. And actually on the whole image, I think I want more contrast. Maybe some more blacks too. And I would like to, I think, reduce the clarity on myself a little bit. I look a little crunchy compared to everything else. Cool, deselect that. Let's go back a page and add a linear gradient. Maybe a small one here at the bottom. Go over to exposure. Reduce that with the dial a little bit. Add another linear gradient. Just a very soft one. And then we'll add another little one on this side. Now we could add a radiant or a radial gradient, maybe around the sun here. Add a little more glow through the trees. Sweet, I'm pretty happy with that. The other thing is that depending on what you're doing, you could rearrange this to suit that. So for culling photos, what would be really nice is moving the keypad over potentially to my right hand, and with the dial pad just navigating through each photo. And I could select 1 star, 3 stars, or 5 stars. However you like to organize your photos, you could select one of the buttons to be add to quick collection, and it would just be a really quick and easy process for you. So that gives you a really good sense of how you would integrate the keypad and the dial into your Lightroom workflow. And you could especially have a ton of fun with this, with the color grading, adjusting shadows in the color mixer section, and just being able to make a lot of those fine-tune adjustments. But what I've liked is, like I said, the fact that it makes this feel more like finger painting and like art, and makes it really tactile and allows you to make those fine-tune adjustments, and it speeds things up. So I just have a few buttons here and quicker access to a lot of the masking tools that I find it really redundant and repetitive to keep having to scroll and click with my mouse all of the time. So this is definitely something I'm going to be keeping in my setup. I suck at remembering shortcuts. Okay, I'm not good at it. I constantly have to Google them again and again to remind myself. And with some of the retouching that I do in Photoshop, it offers me a way to set up an entire process for something that would take multiple steps, and I can automate it, hit a button, and execute it. And it's fun. Like I said, the dial makes it much more interesting, much more tactile, and much more precise to make some of those color adjustments in Lightroom, as well as Photoshop, as well as in the color correction you'll be doing in other video editing platforms as well, like DaVinci or like Premiere. So as I said at the beginning, like anything, there's a slight learning curve. Obviously, I didn't have these before, and now I do. So things I was doing with the mouse, I can now do with one button or with the dial pad. So was it hard? No, I didn't read any instructions to set this up. Using this app was so easy and so intuitive that I didn't need to. It gives you all of the options over here for the different presets you can set to. You can cycle through the different applications up here and see what it does in each one, whether you want to search for an application that already has profiles built, whether you want to create a profile, whether you want to manually import a profile. It's all super easy and super intuitive. And if you can't find something in this menu, there's even a little search actions option up there. But even when it came to making a custom adjustment or doing something that was multi-action, again, it's drag and drop. It's really easy. Anything that allows you not to read instructions is easy to use. So when it comes to setting multiple actions for something, yes, it takes a few minutes to set that up, but that's you doing the work once that pays off every single time you hit that key or that shortcut from that point forward. There's no mental load to have to remember how to do that process or even what that shortcut would be. And when we have as many passwords as we do these days and we're trying to keep track of those, it's kind of nice to have something that keeps that mental load for you. And to me, especially when it comes down to the price, it's a no-brainer. If you're already paying for the Creative Suite or it's something you wanted to start investing in, you basically get this for free if you were signing up for that for 3 months. So I also really enjoy that it's lightweight and small enough to take with you when you travel. I think when people typically invest in a tool like this, they think it has to be locked in at your desk at home, which is just not true. You can take this with you. It's small, it's compact, it's lightweight, it's made with recycled plastic, there's no paint on anything. It's got that aluminum dial which feels premium, but it doesn't make it heavy. You could bring this to a cafe if you wanted to. So big thank you to Logitech for sponsoring today's video. I hope you guys have some extra food for thought when it comes to a tool that could speed up your workflow and make editing a lot more fun for you. If you like this video and you want to see more tools like this in action, please give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment down below for something else you'd maybe like my opinion on, and I will see you guys in the next one.